on with glasses and short hair, and she shows herself standing at a podium, like she's done speaking engagements. And she talks about her being an atheist. And she's a little bit standoffish. That's the way she comes across to me. And her name started with an M. But I didn't hear her full name.
Yeah.
And what did you say? What was her name?
Well, Madalyn O'Hair.
Madalyn O'Hair. And she says, okay, because she did say that is her name. This is who she is.
So we tried to interview you before, but you refused us. Are you willing to?
She says I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready. Oh, how? Why?
No.
Why is that?
She said, let's just call it pride.
Oh yeah, of course. You must have met my dad, I guess, huh? Just kidding.
She said, well, what'd she say? She said, yes, in fact, we're two peas in a pod. We're like best buds.
Oh, my gosh, I bet. So are you an atheist now? Or do you now believe in life after death? I mean, it seems like a silly question.
An atheist.
But, well, what do you mean?
She said a skunk doesn't, a leopard doesn't lose its spots.
Yeah, but why? How can you be an atheist and be talking from the afterlife?
She said, listen. She said, in my opinion, I just redefine what an atheist means.
Oh, okay.
There's no God.
Oh, well, maybe
there's no God.
No God as far as, a humanized, a humanoid-ish.
She said, bullshit.
Of
That's
course.
all man stuff. Man created it. She's getting a little bit pissy.
Well, would you believe in a collective consciousness of energy, as a...
She said, you know what I'll tell you? I believe... I'm sorry, I'm kind of taking on how she's acting.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I seem kind of like gruff. It's because I'm really... That's how she's making me feel.
Oh.
She said, look, listen. She said, of course, there's a collective consciousness. All of our like who we are as individuals, they're all linked together. So you can think of it like a big brain.
Yeah.
She said, that's what we are.
Okay, so you believe in...
God, just a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry.
No, so really you're an atheist in that you don't believe in the God sitting on a throne type of God.
She's like, you know how a person will like make a face and then they'll like shrug their hand like, ugh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So, so you and I have the same beliefs then. That's good. But I don't call myself an atheist. I believe in a theos, a God, but the God is us, collective consciousness. Yeah. So it's all about semantics, I guess.
Yeah, she said, look, I have a real problem with people, for me, personally. I have a real problem with like people like, when I hear the word God, I think of like a figurehead that's like over everyone else.
Oh yeah, no.
She said, I have a real problem with that.
Yeah, me too.
We are all, I'm my own boss.
Yeah, you are.
Right? There's nobody going to be a boss over me.
Yeah.
So.
Are you from Texas? Oh no, you were born in.
She's not saying.
Oh, you died in Texas. Yeah, tell me about your death.
Did she get shot?
I don't know. It's some sort of murder. Her O'Hair and her son John and granddaughter Robin suddenly disappeared. Diabetes medicine was on the. Let's see. I don't know. I guess they don't. Until September 27th, American Atheist employees received several phone calls from Robin and John, but neither would explain why they left or when they would return, while they said nothing was amiss. Their voices sounded strained and disturbed. After September 28th, no further communication came from any of the O'Hairs. So there was a murder investigation launched. But go ahead and you tell me what happened. Oh, yeah, it looks like she was murdered, yeah.
Yeah.
By somebody.
She said, I don't want to come off as rude, but that's a family matter.
Oh, okay, all right.
She's not an easy woman.
I'm not going to get very much out of you, am I?
She said, I just wanted to give you my 2 cents on
Well, why did they murder you? Why did he murder you? Those 2 people, Waters and Carr, K-A-R-R. Or no, maybe it was just Waters. I don't know.
Yeah. She said, well, I like to shoot my mouth off.
And they just got mad at you?
She said, I don't know anything about her, but she's, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just putting, that's my little disclosure, but
yeah.
I've never even heard of her before. But she says, I made a lot of people angry.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was asking her, well, you know, what did you do in life? Because I'm not familiar with you. I was asking her that.
Yeah.
She said, you can call me an activist of sorts.
Yeah, she's an activist for American Atheists.
Oh, okay.
Are you proud of your work that you did as the head of American Atheists? Or whatever organization?
She said, I'm a proud woman.
Okay.
So she said, of course I'm going to be proud. I'm sorry, Madalyn, did you say her name was? Or I was going to just tell her that she just seemed very angry.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to be angry with us.
She said, I don't mean to come off as angry. She said, this is just who I am.
Oh, I see. You're just assertive.
I'm just very assertive.
That's fine.
And it comes off, it rubs people the wrong way sometimes.
Oh, that's a shame.
She said, you know, I'm not going to apologize for who the hell I am.
No, you shouldn't. Nor should you.
Cusses more too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So you're proud of what you did. When you look back on your life, are there any regrets? Do you have any regrets?
She said, hell no.
Really, none. Now,
no
try
regret.
to put your pride aside. I mean, I don't understand how a spirit can have a sense of pride. It seems like that's so ego-based. Why do you have this hubris?
Yeah. She said, okay, let me try and help you understand. It's being misinterpreted as what you might associate with as ego. Mm-hmm. Right? She said, I'm just being who I am.
Okay.
That's just who I am.
Okay.
That's just who I am.
So it's not
she says if other people judge me for who I am, then they are living in ego.
Ah.
Right?
Okay, so really, it's not like a false pride. Like, I don't want to admit that
She said, no. Now, she said, I'll tell you what. She said, what shaped my personality over all the lifetimes, including the one that I just lived, the one that we're referring to now. Mm-hmm. She said, I had to be strong.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes strength comes off as cocky, arrogant.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what
I have spoken.
She said, but that's everybody. Huh?
I have spoken.
She said, but that is everybody else's baggage, not mine.
Yeah. Right. Of course, it's not your responsibility to.
I learned a long time ago, let go of everybody else's stuff.
That's right.
Because you got enough to carry for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
She said, and here's what I want to tell you about, some of the blog members. Right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or she said not blog members. She said, let me rephrase that in a more general perspective. People need to learn to stand up for their damn self. Stop letting everybody run you over.
Yeah.
Right? She said, I guess maybe this comes off as a bit of, like tough love. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to grow you got to grow a pair. Yeah. You got to learn that you have a backbone. Mm. And you stop letting people run you the hell over.
Yeah. Is that why you decided to come today to be interviewed?
She said my initial reason was to let you know my definition of what an atheist is.
Okay, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
And to get my point across. And to let you know, she said, Erik said, tell her the rest that you told me. She said, okay. She said, and because I can't stand it when someone has a misinterpretation of who I am as a person, as a soul.
Sure.
Right? And that's, she said, and when I didn't show up last time or I didn't want to be interviewed last time, I could feel that from everybody involved.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
She said, so maybe I took a little bit of offense to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She said, spirits can get, angry.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right?
But it's different, though, isn't it?
He said, well, not he. I'm sorry. You know why I said he? Because she comes off as very masculine.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right.
I think she was a lesbian. I'm not sure, though. But we won't,
okay.
We won't ask because that's your personal business.
Well, she said, I'm sorry, what was she saying now? Because it's like all of a sudden, what was I saying before? Because that'll help me reconnect with what she was saying. She was saying
they can get angry. Spirits can get angry. But
yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. She said, now do you remember, Robert? Yes, I do. She said, because she acts almost a little annoyed.
Oh, you got some spunk. I like that.
She said, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. She likes to cuss.
You remind me of my mother.
Yeah, you know. I guess in this moment, I've never really connected with her in that way, your mom, because whenever I come across, she's more like airy-fairy.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
Innocent.
Well, now, maybe, yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's how I knew her.
Yeah.
But anyway, she said, but look, my anger comes from a place of, I get irritated when people believe what they're told, right, and they go through this whole experience of letting the blind lead the blind, right? Mm-hmm. And so then they constantly and consistently misinterpret, right? And never stop and step back. She said, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
When they don't really see the truth, right? She said, that's what I was trying to teach people when I was in the world, on the earth.
Sure.
Is, believe in the truth. And the truth is not what I say it is. It's what you know it to be when you wipe the slate clean from what everyone else has told you, and you stop and you think from your own unique vantage point without all the other noise going on.
So you define your own truths.
Exactly. Truth is individual.
Do you think that was your main spiritual mission, and not limited to the whole atheist activism?
She says, I'd say so.
But, okay.
Yeah.
So
because I lived in my truth.
Yeah.
Without fear.
Do you think
I wasn't afraid. Up to the very end, I was not afraid.
Yeah.
I'm still not afraid.
No, you're not, are you?
I like her. She makes me feel confident.
All right. Awesome.
When I'm talking to her, because sometimes I can have an issue with confidence.
Me too.
I heard her in the background say, sometimes.
Aww.
Well,
I know. Right. Me too. You can lump me in with that one, too. Now, do you think you succeeded in that mission?
She said the whole success failure thing, I don't buy into it. I just did what I came here to do. If she said, I'm pretty happy with the results, I'll just put it that way.
Okay. You're very black and white.
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Right? Madalyn?
Yeah. She says, well, sure.
Okay, so you had this dominating, very assertive side to you. Were there any other sides to you? For example, did you have a nurturing side or any other side that you'd like to share with the world?
She said everyone associates, that domineering as not being nurturing. She said I saw that as very nurturing.
Explain, please.
Because I'm teaching you to take care of yourself. But you can do it yourself, right?
Okay.
All these other labels everybody puts on, about tough love and breaking people down and all that was never my intention. And the only reason you may take offense to something is because you've on some level heard it somewhere else that's not how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be nice and quiet, very, very like she shows like a person walking on eggshells.
Yes.
So worried about everybody else's feelings. She said everybody else's feelings is their feelings.
Yeah. That's true.
That's their reaction to what I say, and that's their own stuff.
All right, so we have to completely separate our feelings from the feelings of those around us in order to understand each better.
She said, sure. She said, you have that friend of yours, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
She said what she would put that as, it's about boundaries.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Okay. So, what other facet of yourself?
She just said, And then she like showed herself, I'm sorry, like she's leaning on the bar, and she goes, and I'll tell you what, I like that Jamie.
Oh, yeah, she's great, isn't she?
She said she sure is.
What do you like about her?
She said, what's not to like about her?
Oh.
She said, now you done put me on the spot because I did that to myself.
Uh-oh.
She's making me laugh. She said, all right, I'll be honest. She's pretty.
Oh, okay. Oh, she is pretty.
Yeah. Like, she said, I like her, she said she's like the opposite of how I am, right? At least in many ways.
In some ways, yeah.
She's softer in many ways. Even the parts of her that are more assertive are softer than I am. If you want to put labels on it.
Okay.
She said she's like a fluffy pillow.
Aww. That you just want to hug.
Pink and lavender. Pink and lavender, soft, fluffy pillow.
And you just want to hug that pillow, huh?
She said that's right. She said we need people like her. We need people like me.
That's true.
We need people like Erik. We need people like you.
That's
we
true.
need people like Robert. Because all together we all learn from each other.
All right. Well, what other facet of your personality or your persona would you like to share? Because in many ways I feel like you're misunderstood.
She said, well, sure. And she said, and like I said before, that all comes from everyone else's, judging me for who I am.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
For not accepting me, as the way that I am.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just tell you right now, shit. Sorry. She told you, just got on to me for apologizing.
Uh-oh.
But she's just very, very
straightforward. Well, come on now, don't be holding back. Tell me a part of yourself.
You said, I held back at all in this conversation?
No, but you are not telling me what other facet you have that the public might not be aware of. That might help you be more understood.
She said, let me think of something. She said, because I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, like, did you like picking flowers in the garden? Did you like anything? Give me anything.
Right, because, in fact, she was showing me visuals along those lines, right? I was much more creative. She said, I am much more creative than people ever thought I could be.
Okay.
Right? Now, this is not her speaking, but this is Robert telling you some of the visuals she gave me.
Okay.
She gave, like, visuals of, like, a person writing, right?
Writing? Like writing something down?
Like writing, like...
Okay.
The first word comes to mind for me, because that's what I connect to most is poetry. But
okay.
She said she really...
Likes to write.
She said she did write some poetry.
Oh, good. Okay.
She said, I like to write.
Okay.
I'm creative, though, in general. She said, so creativity, I'm telling you what, it's a great way to unwind.
Oh,
at least it was for me. Still is.
That's good. All right, so have you met your...
And she said, people associate creativity with having a bit of having more than a sensitive kind of a heart.
Yeah.
She said, so hey, if you want to see my sensitive side, then or realize I have one, then the fact that I'm creative shows you that I have one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Everything I do for everybody, it's not like I hate anybody. I don't hate anybody.
Well, of course not.
She said, I do everything because I know people can do better.
Yeah.
I knew throughout my life I could do better.
Okay, right? So after you died, you transitioned into the afterlife. What was your first reaction?
I said, let's get to work.
Really? Go on. Yes. Go on.
She said, well, I'm just telling you, I am the kind of person that, I don't like to sit idle.
Right? You're definitely not, yeah.
No. She said, so let's get to work. She said, okay, all right. So there is, when you die, that isn't the end. Now, okay, that's all we need to say about it. Let's get to work.
Okay, so and what work are you referring to?
Well, like what I'm doing now. She said, and that's why earlier when I said I wasn't ready, right? She said one of the other reasons I wasn't ready is because I wanted to do my work. I wanted to figure out, to learn more about this whole afterlife thing, if that's what you want to call it, right? He said, it's really not an afterlife. It's just the fact that it's all life.
Yeah.
There's just nothing other than life.
Yeah.
And you just take on different forms, she said.
And go into different dimensions.
Right. She said, if you want to call it a dimension.
Well, what do you want to call it?
I just call it your reality.
Okay.
Yeah. She said, this is my reality. And right now, I'm sharing my reality with you.
And I thank
you're sharing yours with me.
And I thank you for that.
Yeah.
So were you a little bit shocked, though?
She said, She said, for maybe about 2 seconds.
Were you relieved at all?
She said, I'll tell you what, there were times in life when saying what I thought made me feel every now and then a bit insecure, right?
Sure.
Thinking, well, maybe I should back away, maybe questioning who I am. She said, so if anything, I felt relieved that I knew I was right the whole time, that I needed to be who I was, and that there was no, heaven, no hell, no nothing like that.
Yeah.
There's just existence. So I guess you could say I felt a bit relieved that I knew I did what I was supposed to do.
Okay, that's good.
When I crossed over, I immediately knew that.
Yeah. Why did you, I hope I didn't ask you.
I like her.
Yeah, she seems spunky. I like that. No, I hope I didn't ask you this before, but it's been really that kind of day. Why did you decide to come forward right now? I know you had to figure out the afterlife, you had to figure out work. Any other reason that you delayed it and now decided to show up at this session?
She said, well, today, she said, I've contacted Robert several times over the last few weeks. She said, and it's just today I was just able to stay in his attention.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
He got distracted with other things. Eric came in, had his things, and, I wasn't going to just sit there and interrupt. So I got in front of Eric before he could ever even have a word in.
Oh, okay.
I guess you could say I jumped in front of the line before Eric even walked in.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
He said, this is why I'm here today.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you probably met your murderer or murderers. I don't know if there was more than one. Did you? And if so,
I said I wasn't really going to talk too much about that, but I'll tell you that there was three.
Okay.
3 people.
Okay. And do you forgive them, or was it part of a contract? Tell me a little bit about that whole connection.
She said, forgiveness. She said, how can I put my own spin on forgiveness? Because she said, I have to do it my way.
Of course you do, and I would not expect anything less.
She said, for me in life, I think the word forgiveness sometimes, especially, because she said, I tell you, you're talking to me as I was, as people knew me as a human being, right?
Right.
So she said, so I'm pulling up all that stuff from that life.
Okay.
The word forgiveness sometimes made me want to just throw up.
Oh, yeah. It sounds too sappy and like vulnerable. Is
she
that
said,
it?
well, hell, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it takes courage.
I guess she said, well, sure. She said, if that's who you are, right? But that for me, courage is all about being who you are.
Okay.
Right? And we're all courageous in our own unique way.
Yeah.
Right? So for me to be courageous, it means I have to do forgiveness. And then she kind of like gags a little bit in my own way. Huh?
She grimaces?
She grimaced and gagged a little bit.
Oh,
no. In my own way. I'm sorry. Make him laugh. She said, I'm not trying to be funny. But she's still making me laugh. Anyway, she said, so what would I call it? She said, it maybe isn't a single word I would use for the word forgiveness, but I guess other people could see it this way, is you just see things for what they are. That, not a damn thing is personal. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It just is what it is. She said, no. She said, Erik said this before, and I'm sure many other spirits have too. It just is, right?
Yeah.
With a capital I-S. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing personal about it. When you see it for that, then you don't need to hold on to it anymore. There's nothing to forgive.
So it's almost like an objective letting go.
Right.
Seeing it for how it is and then letting it go.
Yeah, she says, I guess you could say I don't necessarily see it with what most people would define as the heart.
Yeah.
I look at it more as, logical. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you seem very logic-minded. Yeah.
Yeah. She said, but no, not her. Erik said, but I tell you what, Mom, she's the most grounded spirit I've ever met.
I bet. It sounds like it. So what do you do there now? Exactly. I mean, how do you specifically...
She said, I still tell it like it is. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know that, but how do you have
she said,
work
so
that you
how do I... Yeah, she said, so how do I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Yeah.
In my interactions with other spirits or people on the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so she's like showing me visuals again.
Okay.
Like Erik does a lot. She showed herself sitting at a table, right? And a person comes up and sits down in front of her. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she tells that soul exactly how she sees them, right?
Okay.
Because she says that, for me, that's a test, right? It's like a test. If I sit there and I tell you everything as how I perceive you, I'll pick up, because we're all connected, like I said, I'll pick up every little flicker of insecurity or doubt or whatever you may have, right? And then I'll reflect that right back to you to let you know, hey, now when you go into the physical world, these are the things that you as a spirit might want to work on. Right?
Yeah.
Because in the physical world, it's going to happen in a much more drawn out way. You're not going to it's like it sticks to you, right? She said, remember before Erik said something about, any kind of feelings that you have that may make you feel uncomfortable, they just kind of evaporate really quick.
Right.
In the spiritual world, she said that's true. It'll happen so quickly that, it won't be one long, drawn-out moment of misery. It'll happen instantaneously from your perspective.
Okay.
The physical world, though, all that stuff that someone may say to you in the spiritual world that triggers those patterns to come out at you, right? She said, I'm sitting there I'm there to call attention to that. So when you go in the physical world, you know how to prepare yourself.
So it's almost like you're Gracie, helping people like take a look at the lives they've designed for themselves and sort of tweak it and fine tune it and bring about some awareness.
Sure. She said, sure.
In the areas
that I do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she said I do that.
That's wonderful work. I want to do that too. Something like Gracie and you do.
Yeah. And she said, and the other thing I'll tell you what else I do is very much in line with what I did in the physical world. Always telling the truth. Always being who you are.
Yeah.
Right? She said, because the next thing I do after, insecurities or whatever, those patterns that may be in the spirit, right? As soon as they crop up, I tell them, don't you hide those things.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you hide them. Don't you hide them. You be who you are. Right?
Like emotional honesty. That's what Erik preaches too.
She said, yeah. She says, because that's exactly what the hell I was preaching. I still do.
So what do you think about Erik?
She said, I like Erik. He's good people.
Oh, good people. Tell me more.
And Erik said, well, thank you. She said, yeah, you're welcome. And she said, and now she's making a joke, which I am surprised that she's doing. She said, when I mean people, I mean people. He ain't one person. He's a lot of people.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
She said, well, here's a little bit of information that I'll tell you about spirits. This is just me projected as one individual. But a soul is not one individual. It's an infinite number of them.
Well, that explains how Erik is able to reach out and prank and pester so many people at the same time.
Erik says, yeah, Mom, remember I told you how I was splitting myself?
Yeah.
He said, well, that's just the way I needed to put it to people to help them understand.
Right.
Really, it's like, it's just a bunch of me's.
Okay. And I thought the world could only handle one of you.
All right.
So what else do you think about Erik?
He said, one of me isn't enough, Mom.
No, it's plenty, and we're glad to have even more. Mm-hmm. So, Madalyn, what else would you say about Erik?
She said he's smart as a whip. She said, so, she said, as a mother, I can tell you, she said, with you being his mother, you should be very happy with that.
I am. I'm so proud of him. What about channeling Erik? What do you think about the work we're doing now? We're not teaching that God is in the throne and all that kind of stuff, so hopefully that makes you happy.
Oh, she said, I don't have any opinion about channeling Erik.
Okay.
Right? It's not like, you know, she said, the only thing I'll say to some of the blog members, because she said, I'm bringing this up because I was listening in on y'all's conversation on Saturday. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The whole trying to, you know, use the whole spiritual thing as an excuse to cop out of doing this life.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She said, if you do that, I'm telling you, I'm going to be the first person you're going to have to see.
Ooh, I'm going to whip your ass.
She said, don't you even think about it.
To whip your spiritual ass. So you're saying that people shouldn't do what? Just to clarify.
Right. She said, I'm saying stop looking for excuses not to live this life.
And how did some people Saturday do that?
She said, nobody Saturday did that. She said, I'm just saying that was a concern about the whole, you know, people sometimes, she said, sometimes people gravitate towards spiritual things in order to, you know, for some people it's to give them a sense of comfort, right?
Right.
She said, and I understand that, right?
Yeah.
She said, but other people it's to look for an excuse, right? It's to like give
the human
themselves,
experience, yeah.
Right. She said it's to give themselves a sense of comfort that, okay, there is something afterwards, so maybe I can just check out.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
She said, listen, buddy, there's no checking out.
Yeah.
There's no checking out.
They'll regret it.
She's getting mad. Getting mad. Wow. She said, don't you check out.
I could see you had so much to teach. Did you come here to learn anything?
She kind of purses her lips, you know. Mm-hmm. She goes, She said, I'm glad you asked that question. Because now I'm going to have to think about it.
Uh-oh.
She said, what did I come to learn?
Maybe nothing.
She said, no. She said, there's always something to learn. She said, I'm just trying to find something really good.
Okay.
She said, so I'm kind of going through my little
Rolodex
experiences. And, yeah. She said, I'll tell you what. I learned that being who you are is very nuanced, right?
Okay.
Nuanced. Does that mean like have subtleties to it?
Yes.
Okay. She said, so, if anything in the physical world or as a human being, it taught me that you can be nuanced in how and still be true to who you are, and maybe get your message across so that more people are willing to listen to it.
So what could you have done differently then to be more nuanced?
I'm sorry, Erik yelled in the background, diplomacy!
I knew it. I knew it. So you didn't have to be such a hard ass all the time.
She said I didn't, but I'm just telling you. That's how my life played out. So
Sure.
She said I'm not going to have any regrets about it.
No, you shouldn't.
And then but when Erik said diplomacy, she turned around and she smacked him.
Oh no, Erik!
You know, not like a mean smack.
No,
it's
I know.
Like a you little turd.
That is so funny. All right, well, I have two more questions. Of course, you can add anything you want, Madalyn, or Dr. O'Hair. I think maybe you're a doctor, but anyway, another life. Is there another life that you could share that influenced your one that we are now discussing as Madalyn O'Hair?
She said. She said, you know, every soul has, I can tell you at least, well, no, she's rephrasing. She said, every soul has a certain, like, what's the word? Like a concentration. You know what I mean? Like a certain thing that they like to focus on, or maybe they have an infinite number of kinds of lessons that they go on, right?
Okay.
But there's always a certain kind of concentration of lessons.
Right. Like Erik wanted to concentrate on relationships. I understand.
Right. Like, and she said, for me, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for truth, right?
Yeah.
For being who you are, right? So she said, the lifetimes where I've had to be who I was regardless. She said, because there's been a lot of lives where there have been consequences for being who I am.
Oh yeah.
Right? So she said, so let me give you an example. Okay. This is not normal. I've not heard this before. Okay. I mean, it's like a twist, which I would naturally expect from her. She likes to put her own spin on things.
Okay.
She said there was a life where whenever the Salem witch trials were, and whenever that was,
right?
She said most people assumed that it was all women that were always accused of being witches.
Okay.
She said in that life, though, I was a man.
Oh, interesting.
And I was accused of being a witch.
Wow.
A male witch. And she said, let me tell you what they did to me. She said, first, they cut my hands off.
Oh, God.
Then, they burned me alive.
Oh, awful.
The whole time, I never took back, or never said that I was anything other than who I am.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you why they accused me of being a warlock.
Yes, I was going to ask you.
I was an herbalist. Someone who, creates medicine from, different plants and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? She said, those crazy fuckers.
Oh.
She said, they sat there and said that was witchcraft, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Because the reason they said that is because a little girl, she came up. She had rickets. What is rickets?
Oh, it's vitamin D deficiency, yeah.
Okay. She said, well, I'd heard of it before, but I didn't know what it was. She said, so basically what I did is I cured her rickets, right? It's just basically, I mean, at the time I didn't know it was vitamin related, but I gave her a bunch of herbs that brought her back out of that. They said I was a witch.
Oh, gosh.
Warlock. They cut my hands off because that's what I used to prepare everything.
Oh,
right?
no.
And that was their first attempt at trying to get me to backslide on myself.
Oh.
Right? I wouldn't refuse. I said, I'm helping people. I'm not hurting anybody.
What a shame.
And then they burned me to death.
Oh, jeez. That must have felt awful.
Well, she said, neither one of them's very pleasant, I'll tell you that.
Well, I guess not, but you probably just get out of your body before you really feel that much pain, huh?
She said, let me tell you what I did, which is just true to form, as the way I've been, in every life where I, call up being true to myself. She said, when they cut my hands off, of course I screamed and yelled, right? That was pretty painful.
Yeah.
She said, when they burned me alive, though, after they'd already cut my hands off, she said, when they were burning me, I was screaming at them. I was yelling at them, calling them,
Giving them what for?
Everything. I gave them a piece of my mind because I was like, well, what have I got to lose now?
Well, that's true.
Right? So I let them have it. She said, and this is how anger, she said, because I was angry.
Yeah, of course.
Right? She said, this is how anger can help. Sometimes you deal with pain, right?
Yeah.
You can channel that anger and that rage. At that time, I had rage, right, into helping you. She said it's almost like a way of pouring all of that pain that would you normally feel as physical pain into a different form, right? And it lets it out of your body.
Wow. So maybe that's part of from that life. Maybe that explains why you carried over some anger into into the life we're talking about now. I mean, your life as Madalyn.
She said, well, I didn't always necessarily recognize that I was angry.
Yeah.
I understand that people could perceive me that way. Even in this moment, I don't feel angry.
Okay.
I'm just being who I am.
Yeah.
But she says, sure, I can see that.
Yeah. Fascinating. Do you have any messages or advice for humanity other than the one about sticking with your own truth, defining your own truth, etc.?
She said, sure, I got a message.
Okay.
She said, everybody goes around, being paranoid of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're paranoid that the government's going to do this to you. Or you're paranoid of the medical profession.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're paranoid of the prescription drug companies. Or you're paranoid of, anything else that's going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
She said, well, first I'll tell you, you need to drop that shit, right?
Okay.
But secondly, it's all because you're trying to hold on to a belief system that's going to keep you, that you continue to feel justified in believing, right?
Okay.
And she said, and all that stuff's coming from somewhere else.
Okay.
You didn't think for your damn self. Right?
Okay. Good. Just
So
like my
she
book.
said,
My book I wrote. Raising children to think for themselves.
Oh, yeah. She smiled.
Okay.
The first time I've heard her not say something in response, she just gave you a big thumbs up for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't paying too much attention to what you said about the paranoid. Did that make sense, though?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's great. That sounds good. All right, well, thank you. Eric, do you have any questions for Miss O'Hair?
She said, she. I keep calling Eric she and Madalyn.
There's such a discrepancy between them, probably.
Yes, they're so different from each other. He said, I don't have any questions to ask her, Mom. But he said, I will say she's got a bigger pair than me.
Oh, my God. I think she has a bigger pair than everybody.
She said, well, I thank you for that.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you. Thank you. I hope this gives us a chance to help you become more understood and to help bring your message to the people who need it, and there are so many who do.
Yeah. She says, it's always important to, she said people, they can't pick up on who you are telepathically. Most people can't. She said, so, it's important that you verbalize who you are.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I want you to be more understood. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
She said, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.